Hi, guys. Welcome to the AMP podcast. I'm Mark Dandrea, the doctor of real estate with Red One Realty. I'm joined by
Justin Humphreys with Humphreys Homes and one of the co-leaders of the AMP team at Red One Realty.
We appreciate you joining us here on the podcast. Guys, do not forget, please download, like, subscribe, share this podcast with all your friends and family. And what I meant to say earlier was do not forget. So it's probably donut.
Donuts on the mind.
Donut, yeah. So we appreciate you being here and viewing the podcast. This podcast is for agents, folks that are considering getting their license, folks with Red One, AMP agents, of course, in particular, and any other agent with any of their brokerage. And of course, it's also for the viewing public. We want to try to educate you and entertain you a little bit. So we really appreciate you zeroing in on the AMP podcast. Justin, we wanted to talk about one of our favorite subjects, which is Red One.
Yeah, absolutely. Red One's an incredible brokerage here in Central Ohio and beyond.
Yeah, growing nationally, run by Mike Hall, Ken Fairchild, Bob Petty, Michelle Brooks, and they've got great backup with Heather and Samantha and an admin team. I brought my license over to Red One on November 1st of 2020. I had certainly had my license held at several other brokerages. Love it here at Red One for two particular reasons. One, of course, the low cap,
right?
The fees. But in addition to that, and I think one of the things that folks out there watching the podcast might immediately think, well, if there's low fees, what else is there? Tremendous support from our brokers and the admin team. So not only do you have low barrier to entry, low fees, you don't have the typical monthly office fees, you've also got incredible support. Red1agent.com can teach you how to run your business if that's the choice you make. Of course, we'd love it if you joined the AMP platform.
Yeah.
But the powerful combination of not only low barrier to entry, but also tremendous support. And if you add that third thing in there, the 80-20 plan is just outstanding.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's what drew me to Red One Realty as well. I knew of Mike and Ken and their reputation, and we joined up in February of 2019, just shortly after the brokerage was formed. And it's a decision in my career that I've never regretted. The low cost, what is it, $4,800 for the year?
$4,800.
You know, there's several different plans for you to hit that cap, but once you hit that, after that, it's 100% commission for the rest of your closings. You can use the office. There's tons of training. They've got the Survive and Thrive. They've got the boot camp. So if you're a brand new agent coming in, you're going to be propped up and taken care of. The support is tremendous. The support is very high. The fees are very low.
That's a great dichotomy.
It is. It's interesting. It's got a great family atmosphere.
Sure.
You've got the AMP platform. You've got Vault Title in the office. You've got Mono Mortgage there in the office. So there's too much to like about Red One Realty.
A lot of engagement in the community.
Yeah.
I was in the office yesterday. I came running down the stairs, and sure enough, Mike Hall's in the lower conference room, and he's in there assisting a Red One agent. So tremendous support, guys, and low fees. Get a hold of Red One. Talk to Mike or Ken. Talk to us. We'd love to have you on board. So I love Red One.
Yeah, I think it's about 25 agents on average per month that join Red One Realty.
Okay.
And
I believe you.
And I think the statistic says that they save about $22,000 to $28,000 annually by making that change, just by avoiding those office fees, the high splits, the high caps at some of the other brokerages throughout Central Ohio. So, and like you said, expanding into Georgia, expanding into Pennsylvania, Kentucky, all these different areas. Florida.
I was on the phone yesterday with our Georgia brokers, and I think they're going to have a great time down south. I can't wait to help them with AMP. So
yeah,
it's going well.
Red One Realty is great.
What's next?
Well, we're going to get into a couple things here. We did want to say, Mark mentioned it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can find us on iHeartRadio, Spotify, our YouTube channel, our website, agentmentorshipplatform.com. We've got some great sponsors: Vault Title, Covita Lending, Bond Strong Moving, and Safe Pro Home Warranty. And with that, we're gonna jump into our first segment. But first, we're gonna cut away to a commercial break and be right back with you.
So, Justin, one of the mantras on the AMP platform is anything home.
Right.
So our agents become experts over time, and they engage with various contractors and vendors. And we're asked for recommendations to these trusted vendors all the time.
Yeah.
Who would you recommend for moving and storage and those types of activities?
Moving, definitely I would reach out to Bond Strong Moving. Kendall Bond is
Yep.
the owner, locally owned and operated here in Central Ohio. They'll do moving, even if you're moving a far distance, cross country even, they'll take care of you. They've got great reviews. They've got a great presence on social media. You see tons of their happy customers. If you want to get a hold of them, you can reach out to them at 614-800-5032. They'll do moving, they'll do demos, clean outs, anything where you have something that needs moved or needs pitched away or anything like that. You can reach out to Bond Strong Moving and they'll take care of you. They'll take care of your clients and everybody will be happy at the end of the day.
Kendall Bond is in my phone. He's a great guy.
He is a great guy.
Bond Strong.
Bond Strong Moving, 614-800-5032.
Perfect.
All right, guys, we're back and we're going to head into our first official segment here, the AMP Action Plan, where we talk about one or two actionable tools or tips that you can use from our AMP tool catalog to improve your business. And Mark, we were talking before the podcast started. You had some interesting information about taglines and your brand statement as an agent.
Yeah. So on the AMP platform, Justin, we probably have a pretty darn good mix, but I would say it's 80-20. 80% of the folks that join the AMP platform are newer agents. 20% are experienced, just need a reboot. In either case, one of the first things we want to talk to them about is a tagline or a branding statement. You know, I'll try to make this quick. My tagline is Doctor of Real Estate.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my initials are MD, so it does make some sense, but that actually came about because I used to work at McDonald's. It was my first job. My manager there, best friend to this day, there were 3 Marks working there. He was tired of every time he'd ask for something, and we used to yell at each other a lot at McDonald's. If he asked for a fry rack or something, he got tired of 3 Marks saying, got it. So he came around the corner one day and said, look, your initials are MD. From now on, you're Doc. And that stuck since I was 16 years old, and I am the Doctor of Real Estate. So tagline and branding statements are important. It helps your clients, current, future, past clients to remember you. Nike, just do it. It's very important to establish something that is memorable. And the other thing that's important there is it could allow you to kind of draw from your life experiences and things that you are passionate about outside of real estate. An example is we have an agent by the name of Lisa Smith. Well, Lisa keeps bees. So her tagline is let Lisa be, B-E-E, your guide. She's got a great logo. We pay for your logo if you join the AMP platform. So we create your logo around your tagline. And I just think branding and taglines are important. They can be alliterative. They can be something you're passionate about, certainly something to do with real estate. But it's important for people to remember you.
Yeah, it's funny. As I've met with builders and lenders, different people throughout the industry, I've mentioned your name a couple times, and people have said, "Is that doctor guy?" So I've actually
Experienced it in
heard
real
that
life?
out in the field. I think that's true. And before I joined AMP, I really didn't have a tagline or a brand, and
Just in time, Humphreys Homes.
that's it. Humphreys Homes, just in time to buy, sell, build, or invest, is a play on my first name. Something I say at the end of every one of my social media videos that I put out
Absolutely.
there. My kids say it when they're walking around the house. They make fun of me and say it back to me all the time. So that tagline, your brand, your logo, that's what's out there. It's on your business card. It's on your social media profiles. It's on any of the places where people are going to find you and see you, and it helps you differentiate yourself and stand out, like Lisa Smith with the bees.
Mm-hmm.
We've had plenty of agents that focus on whether it be pets or charity or tons of different taglines. We have 12 or 13 agents on the AMP team, and everybody's got their own individual tagline and brand that we've helped them curate. So that's awesome. And shout out to Dana Kitchen. She does a lot of the graphics. She'll do one of those.
Sure does.
She does a lot of those caricature
Avatar
logos for our
Yep.
agents, and they turn out great. So yeah, tagline and branding, I love that as a way to set yourself apart.
It's a simple thing to get out of the way early in your career. It's something that is important that you should feel passionate about, and it should be fun and entertaining. And it's a blast to help people develop those.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. For my
What do you got?
for my AMP action plan, it's one that I've probably, I think I talked about it in season 1 on one of the episodes, but I talk about it in the trainings all the time. I call it the 1-2 punch.
Okay.
So when I have a prospective seller that's reached out to me in some way, shape, or form and has told me that they're maybe interested to sell their home, or maybe they're just curious about what their home is worth or the market value of their home,
Mhm.
I have a method. I call it the 1-2 punch, and it's the comparative market analysis, our CMA, which we train on how to develop those on AMP, and Vault Titles. Shout out to Vault Title. Vault Title's net to seller sheet, where you can plug in the sale price, the taxes, the fees, the commissions, everything that's involved in selling a home here in Central Ohio. And you can give a seller a really good estimate or idea about what their net proceeds might be from the sale of that transaction. So by sending someone the 1-2 punch, the CMA and net the seller, you're setting a lot of great, you're answering a lot of questions and setting great expectations. This is what I think your home is worth.
Yeah.
This is how quickly it should probably go into contract. This is what you stand to
Gain.
walk away with as your net proceeds. And I think it's a great way to establish yourself as the expert and a great step towards setting up that listing presentation or that listing consultation as the next step. So that 1-2 punch, I've sent it. I've had great success. I think over 75 or 80% of the time that I send that to a seller, we end up booking a listing consultation shortly afterwards.
You bring up something that I think is critical in our business, and that is that math is very important. This is an emotional decision and
Yeah.
process for our clients. If we can provide them with the math that supports and backs up what it is we're trying to achieve, which is their vision, math doesn't lie.
Yeah.
So,
Dan, I want to throw it over to you for a minute. Let's say you were getting ready to sell your house, right? And you know roundabout probably what your house is worth. You might have seen a Zillow's estimate or something like that. But would you have any idea what your walkaway would be based on that sale price? You know there's going to be fees and probably commissions and state and local transfer fees and things like that. But
Sure.
let's say your house is worth $500,000. Do you know, as the everyday home seller, what your walkaway would be or what your net proceeds would be?
Not directly. I assume, like you said, there's fees, especially as a seller.
And if I were able to provide you with a document, an asset that broke all that down almost to the penny, do you think that would help you in your decision? Maybe you're selling your house to buy a new one, trying to determine what your down payment could be, or
Yeah.
maybe you're moving to Florida and buying a retirement home there.
Yeah,
Do you think that would be beneficial?
I would think that, yeah, because it's all about the next step, and if you go into the next step poorly, then it's hard to feel good about your decision. And there's usually like a job change that's going on in that moment.
Yeah.
Like,
that's right.
yeah, kids going to a different school district or whatever, and like stuff like that. Yeah, that would be very nice to have like a one-stop shop. Like, okay, this is what's going on with my
Yeah.
finances.
Exactly. And I don't think it's something that people, I mean, obviously they're thinking about, we're going to profit something from this, but I don't think it's something that people even know how to calculate.
Yeah, we call them the buckets of money, right?
Right.
It's one of the three buckets of money associated with any real estate transaction, and those are the expenses that a typical seller experiences to transfer their home to a buyer. It's incumbent upon us to disclose those and make it clear, because what's the most important thing when it comes to a seller selling their house? What they're going to net.
Yeah,
Period. End of story.
absolutely.
And you providing that service, that 1-2 punch, is a great idea.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that.
My pleasure. That's our AMP Action Plan segment brought to you by Bond Strong Moving. If you need help with any kind of moving demo services, reach out to Bond Strong, 614-800-5032. Next, we're going to talk about our Agent Spotlight, brought to you by Vault Title, where Mark and I pick an AMP agent from our roster and say nice things about them. So, Mark, who did you have in mind today?
Not only nice things, but that's certainly the impetus. These are agents that are standing out approaching their business, being held accountable,
Yeah.
engaging with the marketing tools. And my agent spotlight is Farzine Zarandi. This guy started his real estate business. I'm going to guess it's 3 months ago. And Farzine is taking full advantage of the AMP platform and the tools. He comes into the office
Yeah.
to meet with me
Mm-hmm.
almost daily. And I can't speak highly enough of you, Farzine, and your family. Appreciate you. We've shared some personal stories. Farzine is from Iran, and I've gotten to know him really well over the last month or so. And Farzine, cheers to you, brother, and congratulations on your success. And I'm sure it's going to continue. So, Farzine, well done. We appreciate you.
I really enjoy connecting with Farzine. Like you said, guy that comes into the office to sit down in person, takes
Yep.
advantage of AMP and the tools that we have. He's there on the meetings. He takes advantage of the one-on-one Zooms with you and myself and other leaders. Farzine has had a successful insurance company for years and years. I think 18 or 19 years he's been running
Yes.
his insurance company. And that database is there for him to utilize to grow and sustain his real estate business. And we've been helping him figure out how to do that and do it effectively.
Yeah, he's doing a great job.
Yeah, he is.
You-
Shout out to you, Farzine.
You have Carla Kiernan.
Yeah.
Tell us about Carla Kiernan. I know her well. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Carla is another agent that is out there doing great work. She's another one that takes advantage of the AMP team and everything that we have to offer. Carla is always a joy to talk to. She's always in a great mood, always uplifting.
Yes.
I really enjoy our mentorship sessions where we train on contracts or anything and everything in between. Carla's got a huge heart. She's big into philanthropy
Yep.
and
Charity
charity work, her faith as well. And she's out there in the Newark market, and she's all the time helping people get pre-approved and helping them achieve their goal of becoming a homeowner. So she does a great job, and we work with her a lot.
She's one of the best at sowing seeds.
Yeah.
You know, she is out there in the community, engaging with folks, communicating, connecting, growing trust, nurturing her relationships. And I just love Carla. So shout out to Carla.
Yeah, shout out to Carla.
Well done, Carla.
Okay, that's our AMP agent spotlight sponsored by Vault Title. If you need to get a hold of Vault Title, you can reach them at team@vault-title.com. Carly, Nicole, Sally, Danielle, the whole team, Paul, everybody's there to help you whenever you need it. Guys, we're going to cut to a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Justin, we get a lot of feedback and questions from our clients regarding home warranties.
Yeah, all the time.
How do they work? Who do they cover? How much do they cost? What's going on with home warranties, and who would you recommend for home warranty services to our AMP agents and our viewing audience?
Great question, Mark. I would definitely reach out to Safe Pro Home Warranty. Diana and Clayton run and own Safe Pro Home Warranty just right over here in Dublin, Ohio, locally owned and operated.
Love that.
They're going to cover your electrical, plumbing, appliances, a lot of stuff on your home so that when those things go bad, you don't have to bear the brunt of the entire cost of replacing them.
Makes perfect sense. So HVAC, appliances, electrical, and plumbing, all through Safe Pro.
Safe Pro Home Warranty. You can reach out to them at 614-230-7277. Reach out to Diana and Clayton, and they'll get you taken care of.
Love it. Thanks, Justin.
My pleasure.
Welcome back to the AMP Podcast. Mark Dandrea, the Doctor of Real Estate. Thanks again for joining us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, download, share these videos. We appreciate that very much. Justin, excuse me, we're going into our Ask the Coach segment. So we get questions from the AMP platform team members and from Red One agents who are not a part of AMP.
Yeah.
What have you run up against lately that seems to be bubbling up through the agents to you as a coach?
Something that I personally have been running into, and a couple questions I've gotten recently relate to HOAs, homeowners associations.
Right.
I have a client that's very interested in what HOAs will and will not allow them to do, and I've had this conversation multiple times as well. when we're looking at properties on the MLS,
Yep.
there's a very clear indicator of whether or not the property is in a community that is run by a homeowners association.
So with condominiums, you can pretty much rest assured there's a condominium association, but what you're saying is in some communities there could be a homeowners association and some may not have them.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Most of the times rural properties are not going to have a homeowners association.
Right.
A lot of times older communities might not have them as well. A lot of the new build communities like the DR Horton, Madison Meadows community right here by us in Plain City where we are right now. A lot of those newer build communities are going to have HOAs. With those HOAs, depending on the community and what kind of amenities they have, there's usually a fee that's involved. It could be a monthly fee if you're in a condo. It's usually monthly. Could be an annual fee if it's a single family residence community, paid annually. And most of the time it's for the common stuff: lawn care, snow removal,
Entry.
exterior maintenance. Sometimes there will be some utilities tied into there. Sometimes on condominiums, you might have your water bill or your electric bill tied into the HOA fee.
So
if there's a community pool, they upkeep that. Go ahead.
So on our contract, it is stipulated in there that if the listing agent is aware, and they should be, that there's a homeowners association, those documents must be provided to the buyer and the buyer's agent within 5 days of going into contract. So good habit is just do the research, load them to the document section of the listing so that they're there. So go on. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, that's a great point, because let's say you are looking at a community with an HOA. Like, for instance, I have buyers that are interested in what they can and cannot do with the property once they purchase it. So one thing I've been doing for them is going through those HOA documents to look at the handbooks, the rules and regulations, to see what the limitations are of the use of the property.
If there's anything legal in there, any legal documents, certainly contact an attorney.
Yeah, you always want to contact an attorney to review any legal documents. As a courtesy, there are times where I scan through the handbook, and sometimes it'll very clearly state, this property, you can do this, you can't do this with it. And a lot of times, though, not all agents will take that extra step of putting the documents on the MLS. So
it becomes incumbent upon the buyer's agent to demand them.
It does. Or what I like to do is I'll go through all the old listings in that community. I can almost guarantee you're going to find those HOA documents on someone else's listing in the documents tab.
You can certainly get a hold of the HOA that way, hoping that the contact person hasn't changed.
Yeah. No. Correct. So HOA, for condos, like you said, it's almost a given. For a lot of the new build communities, there's typically HOAs involved. So know if there's an HOA or not, know what the fees are, know what the amenities are, help provide the documents to your buyers so they can look them over and know the rules and stipulations for the property. So
no surprises.
No surprises. That's the end goal.
Love it.
Our Ask the Coach segment is brought to you by Safe Pro Home Warranty. Diana and Clayton can help you with any of your home warranty needs. You can reach them at 614-230-7277. Mark, your Ask the Coach question had to do with vacant residential land.
Yeah, raw land.
Raw land.
As folks, perhaps start to get out of the city or the suburbs and they're going out into the country. Recently, I had an agent call me, and there was a piece of ground that had not yet been parceled, didn't have a parcel number, didn't have an address, of course. In fact, about the only thing that was provided by the agent I was speaking to, by the agent who was representing the seller, was a map showing this is what we think this 1.31 acres looks like. It's really important, guys, that your buying client and you do your due diligence. The county within which that land sits have deed restrictions and setbacks. The township might have their finger in that. Gee, we go by the county deed restrictions, and we've amended those to say this. So there are setbacks. Your permanent structures can't be any closer than this far from the middle of the road, or this far from the back property line, or this far from the side property line. So due diligence with raw land is critical. If it's on the MLS, chances are the listing agent will indicate that it's fine for residential use. But protect your buyers. Make sure that it is going to be okay for their intended use. do some due diligence, put a due diligence time frame in the offer, and certainly engage with the listing agent and find out what they know. So sometimes they'll know a lot, sometimes they won't. What utilities are available at the road? You know,
Right.
is it electric? Is it public water? Is it a well? Is it septic? So raw land is interesting. I'll never forget my wife telling me that she didn't care what kind of home we lived in. It could be a doghouse, but it's going to be on 5 acres. So I got my experience in country living about 36 years ago, and I've loved it ever since. So if you're going to move out into the country, guys, do your due diligence. Your buying agent can help you with that. So
Yeah, I've helped plenty of clients go to the township website. I've done it for them. Go to the township website,
yep,
find the restrictions, reach out to a township trustee if you have to on those rural properties.
yep.
It's usually residents of the township that know exactly what they've got going on in those lots.
Every time one of our agents on the AMP platform contacts the county or the township, they get all the help that you can get. These guys and girls that answer the phone are just great at letting you know who to speak with. That would be this zoning guy or that zoning person or that zoning girl. They're all very cooperative, very helpful. So
You know,
it's tax dollars for them. So why not?
we talked about Carla Kieran and we've now talked about raw land. Carla had a question, I think it was maybe 2 weeks ago, having to do with raw land.
Okay.
Her question was, if somebody's purchasing a piece of raw land, a residential lot of acreage, and it's got a pre-existing structure on it that's no longer livable. Let's say it's an old wood shack or an old, maybe even an old house that's no longer livable. It's like half fallen down, needs to be knocked down. How do you handle that? Is that a purchase as a land purchase, or is that I don't think that would be a residential
Actually,
single family
I remember
purchase.
this discussion. You were asking what kind of contract would you
Yeah.
use?
What kind of
I would
contract?
use the residential contract.
Okay.
Because it's got real property on it.
Mhm.
That may be inaccurate. Mike Hall, if you think that's inaccurate, let me know. I would have used, I advised her to use the residential purchase contract and just ensure that within your additional terms and conditions, you addressed, okay, what's happening with the house there? And as I recall from that listing, it was fully disclosed, hey, it's not livable.
Right.
In all likelihood, you're going to be knocking it down. But it did have real property on it, so I recommended the residential
Okay.
contract, not the
Awesome.
land contract.
Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. So we talked about raw land. We talked about the pros and cons of HOAs. Next up is our market pulse, brought to you by Covita Lending. And Mark, what's going on with not that these are drivers of the market, but we do keep our finger on the pulse so that when we're at a party or a cocktail hour or something and somebody asks us, what's going on with the market, we can have some little tidbits to share with them
Sure.
to establish ourselves as the expert. So what's going on with the interest rates lately?
I'm going to start with inventory because
Go ahead.
I think it's fascinating. So I think about 3 months ago, maybe four. This is from memory, and memory gets fuzzy as you get older. But there were anywhere between 28 and 3,200 houses on the market. That has significantly changed in the last 3 months. It's been averaging between 42 and 4,800 houses, which is great news for everybody. It means that sellers are out there selling their homes. It means the buyers are out there buying those homes. They get absorbed. Have the days on the market modulated? Sure. 3 years ago, if you had a house on the market for 4 days, you thought something was wrong.
Right.
Nowadays, that's more like 16, so
Yeah.
2 to 3 weeks maybe. And in the country, it might be closer to 35 to 40 days. These indicators tell us that there is a strong buying market out there and there's a strong selling market out there. We're getting back to the days when you had 4 to 6 months of inventory out there, which is good for everybody. It relieves the pressure from buyers when they're competing. It relieves the pressure from sellers when they're having to look at 10 or 12 offers. And I know that sounds like, well, that's a good problem, and it is. But I love it when the market kind of evens itself out and we can all um, appropriately represent our buyers and sellers because we've got more inventory to deal with. Interest rates. Tell us about interest rates.
Well, real quickly on the inventory topic, buyers can now breathe a little bit easier, right? When they're shopping for
A
homes,
little bit.
they don't need to compromise on things like inspections or purchase price. They can come in at purchase price or maybe even a little bit under in certain
Maybe.
circumstances and maybe get an
Yep.
offer accepted depending on the competitiveness of the situation. For sellers out there, they do need to keep in mind their pricing strategy and how they're presenting the property, right?
Mhm.
Their marketing, they need to take special care of their marketing to make sure their property's standing out and showing well. And they need to be careful and calculated with their pricing strategy.
The staging that we do for free on the AMP platform for our clients is even more important than it used to be. Certainly, the comparative market analysis is even more critical than it
Yeah.
used to be. So, your level of expertise is actually more important in this market than it may have been 3 or 4 years ago. That's just an opinion, but
Yeah, no, I agree. You asked about interest rates. Interest
yeah,
rates are, listen, every
interest
day
rates are interesting.
they are interesting. They go up, they go down. It's every day pretty much they have a different trajectory, but they've been sticking right around 7% over the past 3 months or so.
Yep.
6.95% as I checked it yesterday for 30-year fixed mortgages. If you're looking at new builds, though, there are certain builders out there that are offering interest rate incentives around 4.5, 5.
Sure.
Some are even buying them down. I saw as low as 3% the other day for a buy down. So interest rates, and if you look at let's say you look at a 5-year window of the interest rates,
Yeah.
these might look a little bit high because we had the 20 and the 21, the 22 years of
3.
3% interest rates. But if you look at a 30-year window of interest rates, these are
Very
very
average.
Right? They're in line with the average interest rates. So, some people might say, "Oh, interest rates are so high." Really, they're not. They're pretty average right now.
I have a suggestion before we get off of this particular session, part of the podcast. Agents, go through the math with your buying and selling clients. This is a mathematical issue. And there's not a lot of difference between 6.95 and 5.95, even though it's a full percent lower. Mathematically, if you go through that with your buying and selling clients, not only will they gain that knowledge and power, but they'll more fully understand that, look, I can do this now rather than wait for interest rates to drop if I think that that's something that I'm going to do. This is just a math issue.
Yeah, and we both know the media likes to get their clicks, right? And
Oh, yeah.
they paint a horrible picture of the housing market's
God
crashing,
bless them.
interest rates are through the roof, and blah blah blah. A lot of times with my buyers that are on the fence because of those different topics that they see in mainstream media, one conversation with Steve Bezkid from Covita Lending,
We'll fix that.
and they'll call me and say, "Justin, I didn't realize I could buy a house right now. I'm ready to go." I hear that all the time.
Because it's math.
Right,
National news is emotional.
right.
Our business is math.
All right, guys, we're going to be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Justin, our agents are asked for referrals to various service members that are involved in a transaction. And one of the most frequently asked questions is, who do I get my loan through? So who would you recommend to our AMP agents and other agents out there in our viewing audience as to who they might want to contact to get their mortgage?
Yeah, for any financing, loan, mortgage questions, I would reach out to Steve Bezkid with Covita Lending. Steve's one of the founders of Covita Lending. You can find him at 740-255-6220. I've done multiple deals with Steve, and he's taken excellent care of my clients. His communication is next level, and I highly recommend him for any kind of financing needs that your clients might have.
That's one of the keys, is educating and empowering our clients, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So Steve at Covita Lending.
Steve Bezkid, Covita Lending, 740-255-6220.
Thanks, Justin.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the AMP Podcast. Mark Dandrea, the doctor of real estate. I'm here with Justin Humphreys, just in time with Humphreys Homes.
That's right. Just in time to buy, sell, build, or invest.
Love that. So this next part of our podcast, Justin, we call Mindset Matters.
Yeah.
What do you mean by Mindset Matters, or what are your thoughts on Mindset Matters?
Well, and with the Mindset Matters segment, we take a little bit of a psychological approach to real estate.
Okay.
It's managing a business, it's managing clients, it's managing transactions. There's a lot of mental and psychological things that come into play, and we've got some tips and helpers and points that we can point out to our agents that might be able to help them with some of those processes.
They are self-employed subcontractors
Right.
driving their business. And when you have that kind of I mean, we're sitting here, I'm going to pull up Daniel here. Daniel, thank you very much for the Nespresso, number one. Number two, you're an owner of Sycamore Studios.
Yeah, that's right.
Mindset matters is important. What are your thoughts on getting through the daily grind of running, driving, marketing, and growing and sustaining a business? We've got some thoughts. I wanted to get your input.
A line I usually say is that you win and lose off of your own merit or your own effort or lack thereof.
Yes.
And some of that is ignorance of what to do, but it's also just just do something. And so, but yeah, that's kind of my mantra.
So that leads me to just one more question for you. So how do you keep yourself driving forward day after day after day? Because you said something just now, and I'll say it more crassly. The difference between winning and losing in business is very, very, very small.
Mm-hmm.
A winner will stay excited about something for however long it takes. A loser might stay excited for 2 weeks or 2 days or 2 months. How long ago did the seed of Sycamore Studios get planted for you, and how long did it take you to get up and running in this beautiful studio?
So it was kind of a COVID project. I know that was a weird time for all of us.
So what year?
But it was actually like the building was built in 2020.
Yeah.
But it was like hot chicken takeover, I think it is. We like sat down with like 4 or 5 people and was like, can we do this?
Yeah.
And that was 2019. But then yeah, it finally just kind of fell into place of like making the decision.
Yeah. So 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 23, and you opened at 24, 25.
We've been going for like the building opened and 2021 was the actual business was open and we can actually do.
So you've been driving now for 3.5 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Good for you. Thank you for having us. We really appreciate it.
Glad to have you.
Yeah. So Justin,
Yes.
mindset matters.
Yeah. Last night was Tuesday, and we did our AMP Tuesday training, and the topic was avoiding the burnout in a business with no clock out time. And we had a great conversation. I think we had about 12 or 13 AMP agents, a few of the leaders aside from myself. We had a great conversation about self-care, setting aside time for yourself to take care of yourself. And that's actually one of the things you wanted to talk about was maybe time blocking in regards to yourself, not just your clients or your appointments, but yourself as well.
Absolutely. So last night, laying in bed with my wife, and my phone is buzzing, and it was probably 10:45 or 11. It's always turned over so that light doesn't wake me up. Justin, at some point, you've got to shut it down. So on occasion, I'll turn it over and make sure it's not something that's critical. But it is critically important when all of us in life have family, faith, even if it's in yourself, a social life, and many real estate agents have a job outside of real estate. It's critical to set aside time for yourself. I find myself repeating this to the AMP agents that I Zoom with. I'm sure you do as well. You know, if you're busting it, let's say you set aside time to deploy a particular marketing tool, engage in real estate, and it's 10 o'clock in the morning and you just bust it for 2 or 3 hours and really focus on your business. Oftentimes when I'm going through our time blocking coaching, that particular agent might say, okay, I've done that from 10 to 12. Now I'm going to do this from noon to 2 or noon to 1. And I'll say, let's take a minute and breathe. Why don't you give yourself 15 or 30 minutes in between those two things to relax? Go off and play a game on your phone, read a book, spend time with your pets, say hi to your significant other. Give yourself time to breathe. It doesn't feel that way in today's world. We're always going, and going. We got the phone with us. It's a constant 24/7, 7 days a week. The other day, I was talking to somebody, and I think I've mentioned this before, but it happened to be a different day. It was Sunday, and I was talking to a client, I believe, and they said, well, it's just another Sunday. I said, that's exactly right. It's a 7-day-a-week position when you're assisting people in real estate. Set aside time for yourself. If you've got to put it on your calendar and call it time, I don't care what you do. you got to have time for yourself.
Yeah, that's what we talked about on the training last night. We talked about putting systems in place to take some of that burden off of your day to day.
Yeah.
So like, let's say right now, currently you time block an hour each day for your social media. We
Yeah.
talked about setting aside maybe time on a Saturday or a Sunday evening and doing your whole week in advance. So now that hour window is open on your daily schedule so that you can schedule some self-care, or you can schedule that time to prospect or whatever you want to do with it. So time blocking is important for a lot of reasons, and it can be applicable to self-care. Putting systems in place to take some of the burden off of yourself of the day-to-day tasks can help you do that too.
That's an interesting dichotomy, because when we're coaching folks on their calendar, we often ask, how do you structure your life now? Is it a whiteboard? Is it a family planner? Is it Gmail? Is it Outlook? It's interesting when you first present that to somebody, it feels like pressure. Like, you're asking me to organize my life. That feels like, okay, I got to get that done. It ends up, and I get this feedback all the time, after that session is over and they've actually deployed that time blocking in their life, it actually makes their lives a lot easier.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, because you know what to expect. It's on my checklist to do every day to look at my schedule for today and look at my schedule for tomorrow,
Right.
and maybe even the next day or the rest of the week, just so that I have an idea of what's coming next.
It helps you check boxes and hold yourself accountable, and that feels good.
Yeah, and you mentioned something about turning your phone over at night. One of the last night on the call, we talked about hours of operation and how it might be beneficial for some people to set those boundaries and those expectations up front by maybe having, a lot of us have our hours on our Google business page, on our social media, on our website from Red One Realty that say open all the time or open Sunday through Monday, at 24/7. We talked a little bit on the call last night about maybe realistically setting those boundaries up front to where, hey, it's okay, I'll be available up into a certain hour, but after that, Joe Wood, he puts his phone on do not disturb when he's getting ready for bed, and he doesn't take it off until after he's woken up, and then he reviews his messages and reaches back out to people. And I think that's a healthy way to do it. To be in control of your systems and not have them be in control of you.
Couldn't agree more.
Absolutely.
What's next, brother?
Well, we're going to cut to a quick commercial break to hear from one of our sponsors, and we'll be right back to wrap up the show.
Justin, and we've got partners in any particular transaction that we assist our buyers or sellers with. You've got lenders, appraisers, inspectors, and title folks. Who would you recommend to our viewing audience that they might want to get a hold of for title services?
Well, that's an easy one, Mark. Vault Title has been our trusted sponsor since the beginning with AMP, and especially the AMP podcast. You and I both know the ladies over there well. Nicole, Sally, Danielle, Carly, Paul, the owner, everybody involved. They do a great job. Not only do they help our clients with the transactional needs and their title insurance policies, they also help our agents with their branding, with their materials for marketing, flyers, postcards, geofarming, tons of stuff. So if anybody out there needs help with title services, reach out to Vault Title. You can reach them at 614-324-2580. And you can also reach them by email at team@vault-title.com.
Vault Title.
That's it.
Thank you, Justin.
My pleasure. All right, guys, that's season 2, episode 5 of the AMP podcast. Mark, it's hard to believe we're already like halfway through season number 2 of the AMP podcast.
Time flies when you're having fun, brother.
It does.
This is a blast.
These have been a great time. What's been going on with the AMP? I know you connect with dozens of AMP agents daily. And I can say that confidently because it's true. I look at your calendar sometimes when I'm in the office with you. What's been going on with AMP as of late?
Well, we're growing rapidly. There's 114 agents as of today. I spoke to our Georgia team. I mentioned that earlier. I spoke to our Georgia brokerage yesterday. I think we're going to launch an AMP platform in the Georgia office. Just had another agent reach out to me from Cincinnati. So the platform is growing. I think the reason for that, you didn't ask this, but I think the reason for that is Justin, you, Gina, Malika, Sheila, Dana, and myself are very, very focused on support, disseminating information that allows these agents, and this is our mantra, we make agents better faster.
Right.
That's critical. It's critical for our brokerage, right? For liability reasons, we want things done right from the very beginning. And Red One supports that message, and we support Red One by making agents better faster. So things are going well. It's very, very busy.
Yeah.
I think it's busy in the market. AMP's busy. Red One's busy. Our agents are learning a lot of really cool stuff, and I don't know how else to express it other than that.
Yeah, we have brand new agents, we have experienced agents, we have agents in between. Last night on our training call, we had an experienced agent who had just joined AMP. It was his first meeting, actually. Eric, shout out to Eric M. Eric for short is his tagline, I think.
Great tagline.
And he was delighted to hear that we were talking about a psychological issue about avoiding burnout as our kind of first training topic that he had been involved with. So it was fun to hear that even experienced agents, and we know this and we say it all the time, but even experienced agents can benefit from AMP. And then I also just got a text message when we were walking in here today from one of our AMP agents who ended up getting his buyer in contract on a property where we helped him review the contract and make sure it went out properly.
Yeah, that showed extraordinary patience on his part. Christian Yarhouse is his name, him and his buyer both. They actually did not get the deal the first time through, and the other deal fell through, and now he has stepped in. So we're tickled for him. The news every day via text, email, direct message from social media, the engagement that we have. We've got the second and fourth Thursday, 4 Tuesdays, a Saturday morning. We're going to take one of those Thursday meetings and probably flip it to during the day for some of our agents. We're going to probably take one or two of the Tuesdays, do the same thing. Then we've got one-on-one coaching. Tomorrow night, Mike Hall is our featured speaker. He's going to be at the training room up in Westerville. And that's been opened up to all Red One agents. It's going to be a discussion about the 80-20 platform. So we're just really tickled with how things are going, and we're looking forward to achieving our vision and our goals for the AMP platform and AMP Academy Plus in the very near future.
Yeah. Yeah, we help out a lot of agents. And we get a lot of great feedback from agents too. We've had a ton of that lately. The value's there. The support is there. And we're going to keep pushing and keep growing AMP and keep supporting agents to be better, faster.
Without a doubt. Make agents better, faster. Guys, thanks for joining us here on the AMP podcast. I'm Mark Dandrea, the Doctor of Real Estate with Red One Realty.
And I'm Justin Humphreys with Humphreys Homes, also co-leader of the AMP platform at Red One Realty.
Have a great day, guys.
Thanks, folks.